Om Shruti-smriti-purāṇānaṁ Ālayam Karuṇālayam Namāmi Bhagavatpādam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankarācharyam Keshavam Badarāyanam Sutrabhāshya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagini व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः Chapter 12 is the last chapter of the Madhyama Shatkam and titled Bhakti Yoga. So the chapter opens with Arjuna's question to Krishna. Arjuna asks, "O Krishna, which of the two is better or nearer to moksha? Is it the Saguna Brahma Upasaka, the Karma Yogi, who dedicates the actions unto the Vishwarupa, unto Bhagavan, and worships you with Shraddha and commitment? Or is it the Dhyana Yogi, who contemplates upon the Aksharam, Avyayam, Nirguna, Parabrahma? Which of the two is better?" Now, what is Krishna's answer? Krishna's answer is that the Saguna Upasaka, the one who's endowed with Shraddha, who worships me and who offers the actions as a Karma Yogi, are Yoga Vittamaha. They are the best. But the Jnani, who dwells and abides in the Nirguna Para Prakriti Swarupaha, they attain me. They are never away from me. So this is Krishna's ambiguous answer. Krishna is praising knowledge again and again, but then encouraging action. Do upasanas, do karma yoga, dedicate your life unto me. But he says the Jnana Yogi is me, is never away from me. So why is this difference pointed out? Because Shankaracharya says, how can there be comparison? There is no choice. How can you compare a karma, a means to gain Chitta Shuddhi, and the goal, the destination? So the Jnani is already enjoying Ishvara's grace, in the form of the discovery of the Ananda Sarupa Atma. But the Karma Yogi is yet to discover Ishvara's grace. No? So you see, Krishna has said in the 7th shloka, Tesham aham sam uddharta. So uddharta, Krishna says, for those who are living a life of Ishwararpanam and doing dhyanam on me, I become their savior. I will uplift them from the mritya samsara sagarat. I will grant opportunities to them. I will make them qualified. I will give them a guru, arrange the classes for Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. And as the Karma Phala Data, I will ensure that they all come to Jnanam. So this is how Ishvara's grace comes to those who are beginning with first Karma Phala Tyaga, and then Kartritva Tyaga, and then Upasana Yoga. And then we saw how we saw these 5 stages of transformation. How the power of bhakti transforms, the nature of karma, the nature of bhakti, and brings one to the level 5. So these are some of the topics we see in this chapter. Firstly, we have Arjuna's question and Krishna's answer. And then we saw the 5 stages of bhakti, level 1 up to level 5. And then the second half of the chapter is talking about the Bhakta Lakshanas, the attitudes and the values that adorn a jnani like jewels. And finally, the 20th is the glory of the teacher. So here are they. The first level where we start, we are grateful to Ishvara and have prasada buddhi. Then we come to the next stage. All the actions are dedicated. And then Ekarupa, Ishta Devata Upasana. Then that Ekarupa Bhakti expands to Anekarupa, Vishwarupa Bhakti. And then finally, we have the Arupa Jnana Bhakti is the level 5. So, all this we can see. And so, when Krishna is praising the Karma Yogis, because he is responding to Arjuna's mind. Yeah. And in Arjuna's mind is not ready for level 5. No? So everyone has to compulsorily go through all the 5 stages of bhakti. So if you see somebody like Mirabai or Ramana Maharishi who are absorbed in the Nirguna Paraprakriti Swarupa, then it has to be concluded that they've already covered the previous steps in the previous births. They've had a guru in some previous birth, yeah, and they have done all their Nishkama Bhakti, Ishvara Arpanam, and Karma Yoga is all over. Now they have reached level 5, and being Yoga Brashtas, this happens to be their last birth. Now, from 13th to 19 is a beautiful description of, those values and attitudes which adorn this jnani at level 5. Yeah, this jnani bhakta. Now, such section, where we see values and attitudes, Krishna points them out here and there across the Gita. Chapter 2, in the Sthita Pragya Lakshana Prakarana, at the end of chapter 2, we found some values. Then more values are going to come as Daivi Sampat in chapter 16. Then chapter 17, Shraddhatraya Vibhaga Yoga. Then 18 chapter also, we find here and there these qualities. Now, what is the role of these values and attitudes is, supposing you go to a doctor for a treatment. So the doctor will prescribe some course of treatment, 5 days, antibiotics or whatever. But then the doctor will also give some do's and don'ts. Will say, expose yourself to sunshine, get your vitamin D, yeah, and get 8 hours of sleep. Don't have fried stuff and don't have sour. Some such instructions will be given. And in Ayurveda, we call it Pathyam. Yeah, Pathyam means the lifestyle, some instructions for our lifestyle. And Vedanta, it is similar to that. Shankaracharya says, Jnana Deva Mokshaha. That is, knowledge is gained only, moksha is gained by knowledge. Yeah. But for that knowledge to be assimilated and retained, and for it to transform, the infrastructure has to be prepared. So the values and attitudes seen here and there have the role of playing as the pathyam. Yeah? They purify the mind and they give chitta shuddhi. And so the container, when it is pure, it can receive and assimilate the knowledge of Parabrahma. So that is the role. And even if one does not want moksha, and we try to cultivate all these values and attitudes, that is adorning the jnani, they become sadhanas for us. And acharyas say that there will be, minimal stress. Stress will reduce, immunity will increase, there will be physical, mental, emotional health. All these will be there if we just follow these values and attitudes. Then what to speak about the chitta shuddhi and eventually jnanam and jnanameva moksha. So that is the glory of these values. So now we will go to the verse number 13, where Krishna says, Adveshta sarva bhutanam maitra karuna evacha nirmamaha nirahankaraha samadhukkaha dukkasukkaha kshami. The first quality is, this jnani is Adveshta sarva bhutanam. Adveshta means free from hatred towards any jiva, any jantu even. So this jnani will not just take something, like a bat and hit flies and mosquitoes or just to get rid of them. I want my peace. No, we'll find alternative peaceful methods so that there'll be maximum ahimsa. So this jnani is like a abhaya murtihi. He will live a life of least disturbance and maximum benefit to everybody. So Shankaracharya writes here that such an Adveshta Sarvabhutanam has to be a sannyasi. Not just ashrama sannyasi, but the true sannyasi who gives the vow of fearlessness to the whole world. So then such an Adveshta jnani will not retaliate in anger or in hatred even when something is wrong is done to him or her. So only a sannyasi will respond in this manner. But again, here, the sannyasi is anchored in that Atma Swarupa, Anandarupa Atma. And the sannyasi is able to see that same divine being in every creature. Samam sarveshu bhuteshu tishtantam parameshwaram. That Parameshwara, Krishna Tattvam, is seated in the hearts of all. So how can I injure anyone? So there is no feeling of retaliation and revenge and hatred in the heart of this jnani. Because the jnani knows that it is very difficult to change people. And even the offender, the terrorist, their mindset is tamasic and malfunctioning and defective. But at the core being is the same Atma Tattvam. But again, this does not mean that the jnani is going to approve of any and every action. No, that's not the idea here. Definitely, action will be taken. The jnani will set boundaries and ensure that the wrong actions are punished. But in the heart, there will be an inner balance all the time. There will be the inner freedom and inner peace. So the jnani will not internalize the worldly situation too much. And that is all because of the gain of this knowledge, Atma Jnanam. Then such an Adveshta Sarvabhutanam will naturally be a Maitraha. Maitraha is the one who has Maitri, friendliness. So such a jnani will be friendly towards all, towards even a stranger. Will extend a helping hand, will share his time, skill, resources, wealth, or just some good upadesha will be given freely to everyone because everybody knows this jnani cannot hate and is non-judgmental, non-retaliating. So Shankaracharya says everybody will take refuge in such a jnani's satsanga. Then Karunaha. Karunaha is the one who has Karuna. Karuna is compassion and is the foremost guna of the jnana. Now, this Karuna is again compassion in the form of really feeling for the person, empathy. So when, for example, somebody has lost somebody, a dear one. So this jnani will not quote shlokas from the Gita, Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityu, dhruvam janma mritasya cha. No, you really feel for the person and put himself or herself in that person's place. That is why a guru, one definition of the guru is ahetuka daya sindhuhu. The one who is an ocean of compassion without a hetu. Why? Because when the shishyas come lamenting, suffering from samsara, for the guru, everything is in proper place, sthane, there is no problem. But the guru steps down to the level of the shishya and assumes the problem and proceeds to solve it. The guru does not straightaway dismiss the shishya and say, it's all your imagination, your tamoguna and your rajoguna. No, he understands that the shishya has a problem and proceeds the teaching very compassionately. So that is the nature of a Karunaha Jnani. Then we have Nirmamaha Nirahankaraha, As I said, they both are connected. Nirahankaraha means free from the I notion. So we know the jnanis have Ishwarized everything. So the I notion is Aham Brahma Asmi, and not the I that is confined and limited to one body and mind. So with respect to one's own body and mind, there is absence of ownership. And Nirmamaha means with respect to the external world. First, there is an I, and then there is a me and mine. I am so and so. So these people belong to me, my family, my pet, my home, my country, and my possessions, mine. So they two are interrelated. So the jnani is free from both I notion and me and mine, because he considers everything as a gift of Ishvara. Nothing belongs to me. I am a trustee, even of my own body and mind. So that was then Samadukha Sukhaha. This has come before also in chapter 2. Yogastak kuru karmani sangam taktva karotiyaha siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. The definition of samatvam we saw in chapter 2. Now, dukham and sukham, they are going to unfold anyway in everyone's lives as per the prarabdha. But for the jnani, both of them are equal. Yeah, they will be samatvam. The jnani will consider that, okay, there is a happy situation, favorable situation, that is my punya is getting exhausted. And if there's an unfavorable situation, my papa is getting exhausted. In fact, we should be more happy in a dukkha situation because the papa account is being debited. Yeah. But jnani's attitude is agate swagatam gachantam na nivarayed. When a situation arrives, I welcome it. And when it leaves, also I do not crave and long for that situation to prolong. And so the question, why me? Why I have to suffer will not be there. Matra sparshasta kaunteya shitoshta sukha dukkhadaha agama payino nityaha tam stitikshasva bharata. So whatever the situation is, and there is gracious acceptance by this jnani. Then we have Kshami, the last quality in the shloka. Kshami is the one who has Kshama. Now, Kshama, generally we say, is forgiving nature. But a better word, Puja Swamiji would say, is accommodating all. Yeah, one accommodates the whole world with all the kinds of mindsets. Some are rajasic, sattvic, tamasic. And if they can, they would change. But if they cannot, then what to do? I will put on my jnana kavacham. I will insulate myself with jnanam and accommodate everybody. So to the extent one gives freedom to the world to be who they are, what they do, to that extent one is free. So the jnani claims that freedom, the freedom and inner freedom. So that is the shloka number 30. Then in the 14th one, it continues. Santushta satatam yogi yatatma dhrida nischayaha mayyar pitamano buddhihi yo madbhaktas same priyaha. Santushtaha means ever content, ever happy. We saw a word earlier in chapter 2, yadricha lava santushtaha. So whatever one gets, the jnani gets, is happy with it. It is a prasada, blessing of Ishvaraha. That is why satatam. Whereas most of us, we are happy when conditional happiness, when something is, favorable in a relationship, by the weather's good, or the present situation in my home, and the support staff are all present, then I am santushtaha. But not so the jnani. The jnani has got what is called alam pratyaya. The word alam in Sanskrit means enough. Yeah, enough. So when do we say enough in life? After a good hearty meal. So when I'm satisfied with food, I cannot take anything more, not even one morsel more. Then I'll say alam, dhanyavadaha. Yeah, and I'll get up and wash my hands. But the jnani is always in that anam mode. He says, enough, I have more than enough. I've been blessed with Ishvara's gifts. Yeah? So, santushtaha satatam. Atmani eva atmana tushtaha. So, when the jnani has discovered that I'm full, I'm adequate, I'm complete, I'm purnaha, then I don't need anything from the world to complete me, to make me full. Nothing can improve my fullness and nothing can diminish the fullness like the ocean. We saw the ocean example also. Then yogi yatatma. Santushta satatam yogi yatatma dhrida nischayah. So the yogi comes, from the root yuj. Yuj means to unite. So this yogi is ever united with Ishvara in the temple of one's own heart and is a yatatma. Yatatma means the one who has mastered the atma, which means the mind in this context. The one who has perfect mastery, who is the boss, and who is the one who will dictate to the mind and the senses and not the other way around. Perfectly mastered one is a yogi, is a yatatma. Then dhrida nishchayaha is the one who has firm knowledge. Very clear atma, anatma, viveka being there. This jnani has cut the knots of ignorance. Avidya, kama, karma knots have been cut, and the jnani is no more entangled in samsara. He has discovered himself to be that sakshi bird by gaining this knowledge. And so, is a dhrida nishchayaha. Then finally, mai arpita mano buddhihi. Both manas, the emotional faculty, and buddhihi, the rational faculty, are dedicated to Ishvara. Maya pita mano buddhihi. So that is, the jnani is very clear. I want to be on the Shreyo Margaha and has this Vyavasayatmika buddhihi. We saw this in chapter 2. So Vyavasayatmika buddhi is, I want to pursue moksha purushartha as a mukshu. And hence dhrida nishchayaha mayyar pita mano buddhihi. And then Krishna says, such a mukta purushaha is very dear to me. Such a me priyaha. Then 15th one is very beautiful. Yasma no dvijate lokaha lokano dvijate chayaha harsham harshabhayo dvegaihi mukto yassacha me priyaha. Yasmat na udvijate lokaha. The one who does not disturb the world. The world is not disturbed by this jnani. So the jnani will conduct himself in such a responsible manner. How much to talk, what to talk about, whether to be silent, everything in such a way that the surroundings will not be upset by his behavior. He is not a threat or a source of anxiety to anybody in the world. Then loka na udvajate chayaha. And the jnani will also not be disturbed by the world. Today we see in the social media how it affects the people. The people are, affected by the likes and by the trolls. They're completely affected by the reactions of the world. But the jnani, he will not give the world the power to grant happiness or even sorrow. Yeah, he disempowers the world. Why? Because the jnani has validated himself or herself. In the wake of the fullness of Atma Sarupa, I don't need anyone to approve me or to tell me how successful I am or how much I've achieved or how happy I should be, how I should look. No. So the jnani validates himself, and the jnani is well aware that the world, there will be raga, dvesha in everyone's mind. Today, this person is praising me up to the skies. And tomorrow, same person will troll. And I will crash down in his vision. So people will praise or insult as per their mind. Yeah. So the jnani will not give the freedom, to anybody to be happy. So Atmani eva Atmana Tushta. Then Harsha, Amarsha, Bhaya, Udvega, Muktaha. Muktaha means free. So the jnani is free from all this roller coaster like emotional ups and downs. Harsha, elation. Amarsha is intolerance. Bhayam is fear. Udvega, anxiety. So all these, the jnani is free. Again, for the same reason that the jnani has discovered the fullness of Atma Swarupa. The jnani will not be jealous of anybody because he does not compete, does not need to compete with anybody. He's a non-competitor. Yeah, and there is no fear of loss or anxiety. What will happen? Because the jnani has full trust in Ishvara. He has brought Ishvara into every aspect of life, Ishvarized everything. So that Sharanagati Tattvam grants the fearlessness for this jnani. Then feel free from harsha. No? So the jnani knows that if I'm attached to something today and I rejoice over something, then that same thing, when it is taken away tomorrow, then what will be my reaction? So I value the inner peace and the balance. And that is why the jnani will not hit the ceiling and rejoice too much, nor crash and go into depression also. Maintaining that samatvam, inner balance in all the situations and seeing the hand of Ishvara is the nature of the jnani. And Sajami Priyaha. Then 16th, Krishna says, Anapeksha Shuchir Dakshaha Udasino Gatapyataha Sarvarambha Parityagi Yo Mat Bhakta Me Priyaha. This jnani bhakta is dear to me, Krishna says, because he is anapekshaha. Anapekshaha means he is not having apeksha, dependence. Now, you must have heard of the statement Paravasham Dukkham Atmavasham Sukham. Paravasham means when we depend on something or someone, like our support staff at home. When the maid does not come, gone, my happiness is gone. Yeah, and when something is smoothly functioning, then I'm happy. Yeah, so the jnani is emotionally independent. That does not mean the jnani will be physically independent. No, I am physically dependent on so many things in life: transport, support staff, infrastructure, bank, medicines, roti, kapda, makan. I cannot, get all these things by myself. But I can cut the strings of attachment. I can be emotionally independent from all the people around me, from the relationships. Now, again, that does not mean being aloof, being aloof and standing apart. No, it means that I do not give anybody the right to grant me happiness or take away that happiness from me. So, anapekshaha is a very important value to gain that Atma Nirbharata, the self-independence. No? Initially in life, of course, we are dependent even emotionally on our parents, friends, colleagues, employees, support staff. But gradually we have to learn to be more and more emotionally independent. Yeah. So when my children or family calls me or with me, only then I'll be happy. No, situations show us that life can be very unpredictable. So I learn to gain the emotional independence. Anapekshaha. Then Shuchihi. Shuchihi means purity. And we have seen external purity, of course, we need surroundings, but internal purity. Yeah, the purity of the mind, that is more important. What are my thoughts? Are they the thoughts of anger or avenging, retaliation? Do I have a hidden agenda? I say something, I mean something else, and I do something else. So if there's no rijubhavaha, again there will be a conflict in the mind. And for the jnani, it is all aligned. Shuchihi. Then dakshaha. Dakshaha is the one who has dakshata, who is very resourceful and skillful. That is the one who knows the truth. So the jnani, he is able to conduct in every situation in a very responsible, resourceful manner. He can judge a situation, analyze it well, and advise also properly what to do in the situation, what not to do, and reveals the truth. So he is a dakshaha. Janana Marana Dukkha Cheda Daksham Namami. The Dhyana Shloka of Dakshinamurti Stotram we have. I salute that Ishvara who is the Dakshaha, who does Chedanam, who cuts through the Janana Marana Dukkha, all these. So similarly, the Jnani is none other than Ishvara. He's become an alter of Ishvara. So we go to Jnanis to know how to maneuver through life and who can guide us properly. So he's got that Dakshata. Then Udasinaha. Yeah, this is where many people had doubts. Now, Udasinaha is not to be translated as indifferent. Yeah, indifferent. Udasinaha, sometimes we hear uninvolved, indifferent, neutral, but that sounds a bit negative. Yeah, so the proper translation is to be impartial, unbiased, not taking sides. So the jnani understands that in a conflict situation, every person will have his or her own viewpoint. So everybody is right in his or own way. So the jnani will take the side only of dharma, yeah, and will be impartial. Some examples are given like a judge. And Udasinaha judge will impartially give the verdict, even when his own family member will be involved in the crime. And Udasinaha umpire, cricket umpire, will give the proper decision being unbiased. Or to take another situation in our own homes, a parent. Now, how can a parent be Udasinaha? Very difficult. So, Udasinaha is sometimes with respect to the children, a parent can learn to be non-interfering. Give the children the space without being in charge and wanting to control everything. Some parents do that. They fulfill their dreams through their children. So here, Udasina means love is there, care is also there, caring is there. But for that moment, I try to be more of a sakshi. I allow that space for the child to grow. That is again an example of Udasinata. So this jnani, he will of course disapprove of adharmic conduct. Yeah. But at the same time, he'll practice more and more to be a sakshi. A sakshi, and he will not just take sides, but he will stand for dharma. So that is meant, the meaning that we take for Udasina. Udasinata, no groupism. Then we have Gata Vyataha. Vyataha is affliction, from whom all the afflictions have departed. In intolerance and anxiety, sadness, Panditaha na anushocanti. Gita Upadesha begins with that. Again, because of the knowledge of the fullness of Atma Swarupaha, this jnani has no fear of tomorrow. Neither does the jnani have regrets about the past, because he's Ishvarized everything. Puja Swamiji would say this is called settling accounts with Ishvara. So what has happened, was good in a way. What is happening is also auspicious. And what is going to happen? Definitely it will be auspicious. So that is the state of this Gata Vyataha Jnani. Then we have Sarva Arambha Parityagi. This means, again, not to be taken literally, that all the Arambha means an undertaking, a project. So this jnani is a parityagi. He gives up all the undertakings. No. We see how Vyasacharya compiled the Puranas, Shankaracharya wrote Bhashyas. Puja Swamiji traveled round the world teaching. No, all this is for Loka Anugraha and for the Sharira Yatra to continue. So, Sarva Aramba Parityagi means that notion that I do and I enjoy, that is given up. Kartritva Bhoktritva Tyaga. And so, Sarva Aramba Parityagi is again the sannyasi at heart, this jnani. And such a bhakta is very dear to me, says Krishna. Then 17, Yona Hrishyati na dveshti, na shochati na kankshati, shubha shubha parityagi, bhaktiman yasya me priyaha. Such a bhaktiman is dear to me. Bhaktiman means the one who has this jnani bhakti, jnana bhakti. And who does not rejoice, na hrishyati, na dveshti. That is neither elated nor is he sorrowful, neither grieves. Then na shochati, na kankshati. Kankshati does not crave for something. This should happen to me. This should not happen to me. Both are absent for this jnana. There is total self-acceptance. Now, acceptance, why? Because of the order of Ishvara. The jnani understands that everything is interconnected and happening by the vast order of Ishvara. So who am I to resist that? Who am I to complain and demand that things be different? So that is the state of this jnani. Then Shubha, Ashubha, Parityag. Same thing as Samadukha, Sukhaha. That is, if some situation is Shubham, auspicious, like in our culture and society, the birth is considered Shubham, marriage is considered Shubham, whereas bereavement and divorce is Ashubham. But for a jnani, will remain Samam for both. Shubha, Ashubha, Parityagi. There is no judgment. This is good, this is bad. Yeah, this is a happy situation, this is a sad situation. Everything is in order, sthane, yeah? Auspicious. Because why? Because Atma Tattvam is beyond Dharma and Adharma. Atma is beyond Shubham and Ashubham. So the jnani has learned to go beyond the empirical reality. At the level of the mind, there are the pairs of opposites. But the Atma Tattvam goes beyond the pairs of opposites. Then 18, again similar verses we have. Samashatrau chamitre cha tatha manapamanayohu shitoshna sukha dukkeshu samaha sangha vivarjitaha. The same with respect to friend and foe, Shatru and Mitram. Again for the same reason. That is, at the core, the vision is of oneness, sameness of vision. Yeah, with a friend or an enemy. But does that mean that one will give the same treatment to a terrorist and a soldier? Not at all. Yeah. So at the core, definitely both are Chaitanya Sarupaha, but the packaging is different. The mind of the soldier is devoted to duty. Yeah. Whereas the adharma people, they are tamasic and corrupted minds. So definitely they deserve punishment. But again, the jnani will never lose that inner balance and peace at the heart. So that is a very delicate situation and shows the mastery of the mind of this jnani. Then mana apamana. Whether somebody respects me, gives manam or apamanam, this jnani is what? Samam. Samam because somebody is judging me from his or her point of view. Yeah, it may or may not be true. Yeah, but I will not be affected by either of the two. Yeah, I will not receive even mana, internalized mana, neither apamana, because I have completely validated myself. Yeah, I am the Ananda Swarupa Atma. So set up the boundaries will be there. Then the next shloka, similar. Tulya nindastutir mauni santushto yena kenachit aniketa sthiramatihi bhaktiman me priyo naraha. Again, such a naraha, bhaktiman naraha is priyaha. Is very dear to me. Krishna says, who is tulya? Earlier we had what? Samaha, same. No? Now tulya. Tulya means equal. Who will be equal in the case of ninda, criticism, and stuti, praise, and who is a mauni. Now, tulya ninda stuti mauni is again the inner balance. Mauni does not mean literally Mauni Baba. Yeah, otherwise teaching cannot continue. So mauni means the inner silence. When we see, when we go somewhere or sit by ourselves, when we are alone, then we will find that the mind will be chattering all the time. Yeah, it'll be worried. Oh, why did I do this in the past? I should have done it that way. What am I going to do? This is called the mental chatter. But the jnani is free from that inner turbulence. That is the mauni. Yeah? There is silence, there is peace, and there is freedom. That is the mauni, the awareness. Then santushtaha yena kenachit. Same thing. Santushtaha is tripti. Tushtaha. Atmani eva atmana tushtaha. The sadhus in the north, they often have to go around, seeking bhiksha. So when the ashrams will provide bhiksha, so one day they will get roti, dal, sabji, everything. Another day, the food may be over. So then they will remain tulya in both. And when you ask them, oh, how did today's day go? Oh, today happened to be Ekadashi. I did not receive Diksha. And how did yesterday go? Oh, yesterday, wonderful Bandara. Malpua, jalebi, everything was there. So they are able to receive whatever life offers. So that is the tulya mentality. Tulya ninda satir mauni santushto yena kenach. Then aniketaha. Niketa is a dwelling place. And aniketa means homeless, literally. But does that mean that the jnanis will not have a roof over their heads? Not necessarily. In Bhajagovindam, we had a shloka which said, Suramandira Tarut Mula Nivasaha. This jnani will make any place his home, under a tree, in a temple hall, community, gurudwara. Yeah. But even if a jnani has a kutia or a flat, but he will never have the sense of ownership. This is mine. Aniketa. And generally, we see that the sadhus will live in an ashram or keep moving. Yeah, keep moving and around, blessing the people. Then sthiramatihi. Sthiramatihi is same word as dhrida nishchayaha earlier, or sthita prajnaha of chapter 2. The one whose mati, intellect, is sthira, steady. So they never lose sight of the goal or of their Ananda Swarupa Atma, and they're clear about Brahma Satyam, Jagat Mithya, Sthiramatihi. And such a Bhaktiman me priyo naraha is very, very dear to me. Now the last shloka is the glory of the teaching. Ye tu dharmyamritamidam yathoktam paryupasate shraddhadhana matparamaha bhaktaste ativa me priyaha. Now Krishna is saying, the Gita students are the dearest. All who are studying the Bhagavad Gita and who are undergoing these level transformation, level 1, level 2, level 3, 4, and 5, they are ativa priyaha, very dear to me. Why? Because they are all shraddhadhanas. Shraddhadhanas means shraddhavan. They are endowed with shraddha. They are on the Shreyo Margaha. And these shraddhas, they will discover the fourfold kripas. They will get Shastra Kripa, Guru Kripa, Ishwara Kripa, Atma Kripa. And all the kripas will come and bless them with the vision and with the knowledge. So this teaching, dharmya amritam idam yathoktam. Yathoktam means just as we just saw described in this chapter, those who follow these teachings, which are nectarine, dharma-like teachings, and they are mat Paramaha. They regard me as Param, the goal, and they are the dearest to me. Because they are on the path leading to me, and they do not want anything that I can give them. I can bless them with many things in life, but they want me. So that is why it is called a Amritam Dharma, Vaidika Dharma. So that is a beautiful conclusion of this chapter 12. And we see that we saw similar shlokas or idea in previous chapters also. Yeah. At the end of chapter 9 and at the end of chapter 12, Manmana Bhavamat Bhaktaha Matyaji Mam Namaskuru Mame Vaishyasi Yukvaivam Atmanam Matparayanaha. And here also in chapter 12, we see that how this Jnani Bhakta has Maitri, Karuna, Samatvam, Kshama, Santushti, and is free from Dvesha, Ahankara, Mamakara, Udvega, Harsha, Amarsha, and the list can go on and on. And that is the end of chapter 3. Now, we have completed the first 2 shatkams. Yeah. So you see here, there's a tabular format about how the first 6 chapters is all about the jiva. Tvam-pada shatkam. Karma yoga, the role of effort, prayatnaha, how to meditate. Then the middle shatkam, tatpada vichara, all about Ishvara. What is the twofold prakriti of Ishvara, para, apara? What is the role of Ishvara is to bless, how to get the blessing, anugraha of Ishvara. Now we'll go to the final shatkam, that is Asipada shatkam or Charama shatkam, where we are going to see the Aikyam. Yeah. So Upanishads say the Jiva is essentially Ishvaraha. But how to arrive at that, at the fundamental identity? So in the 13th chapter are again very beautiful loaded chapters with the new prakriyas, and which show how we can bridge the gap. And again, Krishna will talk about values and attitudes. And 13th chapter is a very important chapter, which we will see in the next session. Okay. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om